Hi, welcome to Beyond the Cookbook and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Natasha. For today, we're going to make chicken Parmesan. Now, chicken Parmesan is one of these classic Italian dishes that everybody just loves, and everybody in my family loves too. But it's also very versatile because you can switch it up. You can use eggplant instead of chicken, and you can use gluten-free flour or gluten-free breadcrumbs if you have to. So, if you're ready, why don't you come along with me and we'll make it together. So for today's recipe, we're going to do chicken Parmesan. So here are the ingredients we're going to need. We're going to need, obviously, some chicken breast, which we're going to slice in half and then flatten. You're going to need some breadcrumbs, eggs, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, and then you're going to need sauce. And for the sauce, we have stewed tomatoes, and we have prepared pasta sauce and some basil. You could use homemade pasta sauce if you have it. I don't have any, so for this purpose, I'm just going to use store-bought, and I'm going to mix it up with some tomatoes. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to start with is getting the sauce together, because as we're preparing the chicken, the sauce can simmer on a back burner of the stove. So this pot is already hot. So we're going to put in the tomato sauce, or tomatoes, the stewed tomatoes first, and bring them to a little simmer, and then we'll add the tomato sauce after that. So this basil is from my garden, so I'm just going to gather it together, and I'm going to chop. Now, if you don't have fresh basil, you can just use dry. I like the taste of fresh basil. It smells so nice when you start cutting into it. Okay, and that'll be good. And when the tomatoes are ready, we'll add the tomato sauce. And then partway through cooking of that, we'll add the basil. Mix it all up. Put the lid on it and just let it simmer. These are the chicken breasts we're going to use. As you can see, they're quite large in some cases. So I'm going to slice the fillet off of it, if I can. There we go. And then the idea is to flatten these out so that it cooks quite quickly. But as you can see, this is quite a thick piece. So I'm going to slice it in half, just like this. It doesn't have to be so big. This is perfect. And then you can cut this so that it's not so big, because as we flatten it, they are going to get larger. As you can see, I've put a piece of wax paper on my work surface so that I can keep the contamination to a minimum. So we're just going to continue with the rest. Sometimes they're perfectly done, sometimes not. This one here is quite thin, so that one can stay a whole. So this is the last one. It's probably the biggest one. Okay. So now I'll show you. So now I'll show you how I beat them. Okay, I'm just gonna clean up. Okay, can't forget the sauce, so keep an eye on the sauce. This is looking good. I'm going to add the basil soon. So I've replaced our piece of wax paper with a new one, and here's a second one. So I'll show you how I beat the chicken. And I do this with any meat that needs tenderizing. I just lay them across like this. This makes quite a mess, so this helps to minimize the cleanup. So let me just clean my hand, and I place the other piece of wax paper. You could use saran wrap or plastic wrap as well. And then I just beat. And if you notice, I'm using the flat side of the mallet. This one with the spikes would actually pierce the meat and pierce the paper. I don't need that right now. You can use that if you're doing beef, but for chicken, this is perfect. Okay, so let's see what we have. And we have perfectly flattened chicken. Move it over to another plate. And if you get pieces like this, if you can tear them apart, then just do that, or cut them. There you go. So we'll just continue with the rest. And then I'll show you how I bread the chicken and get it ready for the pan. So this has come to a very nice boil, and I'm going to add the basil. Let me just put that down. And some salt. And pepper. Give it another stir. That's it. With our chicken ready to be dredged, let me show you our dredging station. So obviously we have breadcrumbs. These are Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. You can use plain breadcrumbs, or you could use panko breadcrumbs, whatever you like. I like the Italian seasoning ones because it adds a little extra flavor. You should also add a little bit of salt to them, a little bit of pepper. Mix it all up. And there it is. And then we also need eggs. So I've got 3 large eggs, and we're going to start with 3. We may need more, and if we do need more, we'll just use that. Yes, there's 1, 2, 3. And a little bit of water. And of course, some salt and pepper. So whisk the eggs and the water together. Okay, so the eggs are ready. Okay. And then this is how we do it. We need obviously a clean dish so we can put the breaded chicken on. And the way I do it is breadcrumbs, then egg, then breadcrumbs again. and then place that there. Again, breadcrumbs, then egg, and then breadcrumbs. And you continue like that until you're done. So we're almost down to the end. And I did have to add an extra egg, so I just added another egg and a little bit more water. And as you can see, I'm trying to use both my hands so that I don't get a lot of batter on my fingers. It's a little hard working with your left hand when you're not left-handed. So this is our cooking station. So here obviously is the tomato sauce. Here's our breaded chicken, and this is a pan that I'm going to put everything into. I'm going to first start by putting a little bit of sauce at the bottom, and then as the chicken gets breaded and fried, I'm going to put it into the pan, and then we'll add a little bit more sauce, and then we'll add the cheese, and then we'll just layer it like that. This oil should be ready, and I'm just using vegetable oil. You can use any kind of oil you want. Vegetable oil has no flavor, so you can just use that. If you like peanut oil, you could use it. You could use olive oil as well, but for this, we're just going to use vegetable. So just place them in one at a time. And you just want to color because it is going to go into the oven when it's done, and it's going to bake for about 20 minutes, just enough to make sure that everything is cooked through and the cheese is melted. Nice and toasty, so we'll turn it over. So this is our first layer. So I'm going to pour over the sauce. And we don't need a lot of sauce, just enough to kind of cover this chicken. Yep. So I've placed mozzarella cheese, and I'm gonna sprinkle some Parmesan cheese. So it's out of the oven, 20 minutes has come up. And as you can see, look at all of the cheese is melted. The chicken is just smelling so good. And so as you can see, there's 2 layers here. So after the first layer, I added another layer of cheese and sauce, and then I put it in the oven for 20 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes, so I think it's time for us to taste. So here's our end result. This is a nice chicken Parmesan. You can eat it with pasta, you can eat it with a salad, you can eat it with anything, but we're just gonna eat it like this. We're gonna try it, and I know it's gonna be good. That's so good. This is another one of my family favorites. So there you have it here. Nice chicken Parmesan. I hope you watch this video and enjoy it. I hope you try this video and let me know how it works out for you. In the meantime, I'd like you to share and subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching this video and have a lovely day.